Welcome. Brohmvember is back on, everybody. It's the Blowout
After a
Sports
little delay.
Happy Handsome Hour. It's Jay, joined by, as you can see on your camera, you can see Anish, and Teddy Roosevelt is here as well. That's good. That's good to know. I'm glad we have a president with us.
Very good.
Are those new? They're beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
They're very nice.
My eyes are changing so rapidly. They just keep getting worse. So when I go to the eye doctor, they're like, yeah, you could probably use new glass. I'm like, I don't doubt it. I can't see anything. It's great. Nobody made fun of him yet on the quick cast, though. I've been wearing for a couple episodes.
I was going to, but I feel like that was better on air because I like the extra high. It looks like it's like right at the unibrow level.
Yeah, it's good. Hides the unibrow.
You know what I noticed? You know how like we've talked about
whenever you get punched in the face, it probably is protected because it's not right at nose level.
Yeah. Happens
you know
a lot.
What I mean? I know
it happens more than I'd like to admit.
You know how like we get a lot more traction and viewership and readership when Purdue wins, right? And then when they lose, just like the quick cast, you said nobody wants to see a quick cast.
Nobody wants to watch this. I know.
Right. You notice that, I don't know, unless I missed it, there was nobody clamoring for a Handsome Hour after those 2 weeks.
We'll wait it out. We got it.
Yeah.
We just disappeared for 2 weeks and there wasn't a single. Everyone was like, no, that makes sense.
It's good. It's
nothing to talk about.
Well, because the brand survived. Is that what you just said? It went through this hard trial and everything's just the same. Nobody's the worse for it. So we
spent 4 years with hazeling our hats. I think that may have been more damaging to the brand. And on the last blog, the platform that we were on, that I wouldn't even say out loud.
Yeah. That was testing fate right then. So, but I mean, like we might think about it since Boiled Sports has started. Maybe I'm wrong about my timeline. I think I'm close. I think Boiled Sports is older than Twitter, and Twitter could die anytime.
Oh, I think it's older than Twitter, definitely. Well, so sites like the way we started out, blogging, those kinds of sites were the way this stuff. Twitter basically was microblogging, right? And once that became a thing, you didn't need full-on long-form blog posts anymore. Nobody had patience to read that kind of stuff. So that was sort of the end of that style.
And then we just pivoted to video, like our corporate overlords told us to.
They just said the many monies will come in, and you don't have to write anything.
Right.
But now you have to appear on camera. So
it's gonna sit there and stack your cash.
So Jay Money's got his Mr. Rogers sweatshirt on.
Yep.
It's good.
It's a
sweater. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. It's got buttons.
Animal. You probably don't have any sweaters.
Of course I don't have sweaters with buttons on them. No, I do have nice little pullover guys.
There's something about being a fat guy, and you can't relate to this probably, Anish, but you're always warm. It's very rare that you want to really bundle up. And so for me, hoodies are tough because you're up to your neck and it's usually pretty warm. Man, and most sweaters are tough because you're up here. But a button-up sweater kind of splits it. You feel cozy, but you're not constrained, So when you're built like when your neck area is built like a
when you're built like a steakhouse but handled like a bistro is what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
I gotta say, I bet there are people that are tuning in right now. They're like, man, I thought I was gonna be hearing Nebraska talk, and it's the sweater.
I know we've already spent 5 minutes on this and we haven't talked about Nebraska.
We haven't even touched on Nebraska.
It's kind of wild.
Right. What the heck? What type of operation?
And we thought that the fun was going to end when Scott Frost was fired, but it's still fun for me every week. I'm not going to lie. Right. They get their hopes up every week. All you got to do is just troll around those. Now, some of them have turned fully to, I would say, the way we all were during Hazel's time, where now there's a few of those feeds that are legitimately funny because they're starting to do the self-deprecating stuff. There's a few of them. But there's still some that after a loss are really, really like shocked. Like I thought it was going to be different this week. Like really? It hasn't been different for years. Kirk Herbstreit picked them to win the West.
Here's the thing for here's the Nebraska thing. I just hope in the last week of the season they send Mickey Joseph out with a great win. So all that over Iowa and all that Purdue has to do is not trip over themselves against Northwestern and Indiana. What could ever go wrong? What could go wrong?
I was thinking about this yesterday. Would you agree? I think there's probably, if there are reasonable Iowa fans, and there probably are, even they would have to admit that you'd much rather see a Brohm team scare Ohio State for a week than a Kirk Brian Ferentz team go into the Big Ten championship. I mean, I know they want their team to win, but that's absurd.
Do you really think that? Well, I mean, the entertainment value of the week leading up to it would be fun.
Oh, that's all I mean. I don't mean Purdue's going to really throw a scare.
No,
but I do think
I don't either.
It'll be
it's not at Ross-Ade, so
it'll be in their head though,
right?
Yeah. The only program
we'll see Rondale Moore highlights. We'll see Ryan Kerrigan highlights. That's the good part.
All you want is a lead. All you want is a lead, just to make them a little nervous. Yeah. Or 14-10, you're down.
So of the candidates who can win the exciting Big Ten West, which one
the best division in football to me?
The best in all football, yes.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
which is most likely to make it a game versus Ohio State, still be competing with them in the fourth quarter.
On their remaining schedule?
No.
He's saying which team
in the West
that
could hang with them the longest. And I actually think it'd be Purdue.
Man,
I don't like Purdue's defensive backs versus Ohio State's.
No, I don't. After
feel good about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've noticed.
Sorry guys, I haven't really been paying attention. Does Ohio State have a good quarterback this year? I don't know.
I think he's okay.
Or a good wide receiver?
By the way, Greg just commented Purdue, Michigan will be very intriguing more than OSU. I have to disagree there. I think Michigan would
bludgeon
destroy Purdue. I
don't mind Michigan as much because their strength of their game is running the ball.
Yeah.
I like Purdue against the run, and I think they're more one-dimensional. Ohio State can really do whatever they want to do.
Let's win 2 games first.
Yes.
Let's win 2 games. Can we please win 2 games?
Welcome to the Big Ten Championship preview. We are clearly just assuming Purdue is going to make it there.
Oh my gosh, what could go wrong? Purdue hasn't beat Northwestern and Ross-Ade since the Obama administration.
Well,
no, since Bush.
Come on.
Since Bush too. Yes, 2007, I'm almost positive, because that was my freshman year.
That can't be true.
2007 was the last Ross-Ade win against Northwestern. George W. Bush was president.
Well,
holy moly.
Bad.
That's a long time, Anish.
Seems like it. My hips
you make
felt
it sound
good
like
back
it's
then.
a long time.
I like that the Big Ten West is such a cluster that, you can talk to Big Ten. I literally was out in the Midwest this week and I talked to a bunch of Big Ten alums. Seriously, I was at work. We have Iowa people, Illinois people. And it's funny because even when you follow football, you're like, wait, does anyone control their own destiny? Nobody understands what the teams have screwed it up to a point where everyone's beating each other and they all have the same record. And so I don't know if you saw the thing. I think I tweeted it, but there was
tiebreakers are so stupid. That chart.
It's insane the number of variations that there are, and none of them are impossible. But you wouldn't be surprised if any of them happened, honestly, at this point. But I do think Iowa actually does control their own. If they win out,
they do, but they have to beat Michigan. That's really
exactly no. Iowa, they have to beat Minnesota, but Minnesota's hobbled, and then
Illinois has to beat Michigan, right?
Illinois
doesn't matter,
but it doesn't matter because it's in the other division.
Purdue wins out and Illinois wins out, Purdue goes over Illinois.
Iowa. Yeah, Iowa.
Purdue wins out over Illinois.
They go at the same time. They both go. They take a composite
Illinois
team.
Head-to-head. I don't know if you knew.
Yeah.
This,
but
is there a composite team at any point? Is that an option? It's half the Purdue roster, half Illinois roster.
Yeah, that'll work.
Because that could be good. We could.
Wasn't that someone?
I think the stipulation there is one coach has to eat the other, and thankfully we got Bert on the other side.
Yeah. By the way, guys, if you want to hear another level of Jeff Brohm, listen to his comments this week. Just listen to any of them. He was so candid about the officials and about Bert and about the way Bert's defense is coached. I mean, it was refreshing. Right. He talked about how, if you have a defensive backfield that's coached to hold wide receivers, they're going to get called, especially if the other coach calls them on it, which I told the ref, hey, watch this, right? Then you had him talk about which calls were just horrendous, which was great. We don't ever hear that sort of candid commentary from Jeff Brohm. It was awesome.
We heard it last year after Iowa, actually, and that was where he was it was so funny because he was almost dismissive.
We get one
of
week
Iowa.
A year.
We get 1 week a year of exactly.
Yeah.
But the most interesting Big Ten West scenarios happen if Purdue loses one game, right? Because if Purdue and Iowa both lose one games, then it's insane. Then both things anything can happen.
Can win out and go.
Wormholes open aliens come through. It's wild.
Right. TCU might be in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah,
all sorts of weird things, like rips the time-space continuum open.
Correct.
Someone suggested on Twitter that if there's like a 4-way tie, then each team gets to play a quarter in the Big Ten championship game. I like that.
I'm saying it's like a jamboree. It's like the old timey.
I'd take Purdue's fourth quarters. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like I think Purdue's your fourth quarter team, not the first three. We're good. We're fine.
Definitely not the second.
No,
definitely
not the middle quarters. Really. I mean,
the middle quarters have been bad.
Play calling not so good.
So yeah, I mean, like at some point, do we? So okay, let's say that Purdue and Iowa both win out, which means that Iowa goes to the Big Ten championship game.
Well, someone pointed out on the right there, Iowa needs Illinois to lose a game, and I looked it up, and they're right. Illinois beat Iowa head-to-head. So I think it then goes to the secondary. If what you just described happens,
even if Illinois wins out, Iowa still has the tiebreaker, I think. Almost
they're but head-to-head is always your first tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Illinois beat Iowa. So by that, they would be ahead. But Purdue beat Illinois. And if they're all tied, I don't know what happened. I think then it goes to secondary. I think it's how you did against the next order team.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is probably printed somewhere, but we have no way to access it.
Either way, if Purdue wins with a tie, is tied for the Big Ten West, title, but then only one team goes to the championship game, do we still hang a banner for Big Ten West champions 2022?
So you do, even though you don't get to go, you do get a co-championship.
You still get co-champions. Yes,
I really don't care.
Division championships.
They do.
I'll take a they get rings too. Conference,
dude.
No,
the three of us get rings if they win the Big Ten West.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
That's right.
That's in the fine print.
It is in the fine print.
It's really cool. I can't wait. A ring will be that wide on my little baby hand.
Yeah.
Boilermaker 63 says if they're all tied at 6-3, Illinois goes. I don't think that's true because during the Purdue Illinois game, they kept talking about how I think they were very wrong because they kept saying this game, the losers.
Those guys were wrong about everything.
Did you hear them say that the losers eliminated from the Big Ten West? And I'm like, no.
That's not true
also, they couldn't stop harping on the historic rivalry that was Illinois versus Purdue, and it was just like, no,
it was a rivorry game.
These are two just
the
trophy is like a Hot Wheels car.
It's the dumbest trophy I've ever seen.
A Monopoly
so
piece.
Great.
Just roll up a real cannon. How cool would that be? You got a trailer at home behind the Boilermaker special.
Yeah, I love
that would be so great.
Pick your era of cannon, right? It could be a howitzer. It could be a little,
like just big
Revolutionary War cannon. Whatever.
Yeah,
take your pick. But we want a big cannon.
Well, and didn't they say Purdue has won? What was the weird stat? They've won either at Illinois like 6 times in a row or something like that. There was some weird thing at the end they threw in, something that would have been interesting the whole time that they just threw in over the ending. And it reminded me that that's the only road Big Ten win Darrell Hazel ever had. I think he did it twice.
Oh yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, of course he did. What do you mean?
Man, there were 4 years with 9 wins. I feel like we can't get through this. Like we can't reiterate this enough. Those 4 years consisted of 9 wins. And Purdue is on the doorstep of back-to-back 8-win regular season.
The reason old guys like you need to reiterate that is because some young punks on the Twitter don't really realize how good they've got it.
No knee pain at all.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly. Not waking up and saying, I'm injured. What from? I don't know. I had my arm under my head when I slept.
I've survived this long. That's what for.
Yeah. No, we should, in all seriousness, it's weird. We have more access to the past and to history than we've ever had as a people, as humans, right? And it's literally at your fingertips. YouTube has so much stuff on it, and yet I talk to somebody once a week on Twitter that has no clue what happened before 3 years ago.
It's not going to last. It's fine. By next Handsome Hour, it's going to be just on YouTube. It's fine. This is why subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the little bell so that exactly. So that you see Boiler Dowd's quick casts. You see all of our things.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button. Smash it.
Subscribe.
Exactly.
So I got to tell you, it's feast week, or we're close to feast week. So I'm in my office right now. There's the UMass and Murray State game on, which is great. What's funny is Frank Martin is coaching UMass. I don't know if you guys know that.
I did not know that.
That is bizarre. Okay, so that's the first thing. But
and then Archie's up there too. Archie's up in like Delaware or something.
Yeah,
too,
it makes
right?
complete
strange.
sense.
It's all very strange.
Archie got hired at Delaware. Where have I been?
Something like that.
And the other Miller's back at Xavier. So doesn't make any sense. But the thing that I love about this time of year with Matt Painter teams, especially young Matt Painter teams, is sometimes they get this break before the holiday tournament. And this year they get one of those breaks. I love this team getting a little bit more coaching after what we've just seen. A couple games that were kind of sloppy, right? This team, Jay, I know that a couple of years ago your soul was ripped out of you in Louisville, as many of us listening and many of us who were there. But Jay's an exceptional example, because I think he still calls that was kind of a line in time for him where things changed. So let me put a scenario out to you guys, okay? As we approach this was it Phil Knight birthday tournament? What do they call it? What's the official name of that Nike thing out in Portland?
Phil Knight, like
PK. Is it called the PK something?
Something like, exactly, like the PK 20s, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as they play in this thing, they have a great opportunity. So they could play West Virginia, and then they could play Gonzaga, and they could play Duke or someone.
No,
like
that. Something like that.
Okay. Think about this scenario, Jay. Okay. You can think about it for a second. Years ago, there was a young coach named Brad Stevens who had a holiday week tournament where they ran through 3 top 10 teams, if I remember correctly. And that same team used that as like jet fuel. And then later in the season, they were propelled to a Final Four.
You think it had something to do with the November tournament? Because let me throw one back at you.
Hey,
Purdue
did Purdue
November tournament?
Did Purdue win a November tournament last year over potential multiple Final Four teams?
That was a different type of November tournament. I know they were teams. They were teams that were blue bloods. I know. But this is
two of them went to the Final Four. Yeah,
I think it's 3 games in 4 days, right?
Legacy, that's it.
The legacy.
Yeah, 3 games in 4 days. It's like tournament schedule, and to me that is the more important part, which is like that's why I liked last year's thing.
Do you agree Purdue's going to go to the Final Four then?
Yeah, we're going to the Final Four for sure. You know me, I've already booked my Houston tickets. You know me.
No, I'll tell you.
Thinking about this scenario, Jay, though, I really did. I'm not kidding, because I was like,
I believe it.
I'm ready. I'm ready to be hurt again. Like this is a good scenario where you could totally start saying, "Wow, this team is different."
I don't know how we veered into basketball, but
we can veer all over this week.
Let me just take one quick time out. The right side margins. I don't know if you all, because it's happy hour, you're all drunk, but you don't get to no more talking from any of you about Purdue football scenarios, because you're all saying different things and saying people are right and wrong, and none of you are right. I just want to be clear.
That's the best thing. We're not even talking about it, but there's so much nonsense in the margin right now.
You guys have no idea what's going on. I admit I don't have any idea what's going on.
Yeah, to be fair.
It's just like Twitter, where people are such authorities on things they know nothing about. It's amazing. You guys are on brand, is what I'm saying.
But I think the best thing here is, I'm not going to call him out. If you can see the live feed, somebody he pled his case. Jake said you're wrong. Jay says you're wrong, and then a minute later he said, "Yeah, I'm a liar."
Yeah, I'm lying.
I love that. Justice was fast there. Self-judgment. I love
Justice was fast. No, but let me go back to your point about basketball. Here's a way you talk about how you're ready to be hurt again. You look at the Phil Knight legacy, and that could be quite a lineup to play. But let's say they survive that. Like you said, maybe it propels them. Now take a look at, let me just read you December. Minnesota at home, Hofstra at home, on the road at Nebraska, Davidson at home, New Orleans at home, Florida A&M at home. Now, you run through December untouched, which that December you definitely could.
I mean, number one again. December.
You're 8 or 9 probably, right? 10?
Right. Yeah, that's what. Right? So my son asks questions like that. He's like, so if they win that tournament out in Oregon, what are they going to be ranked? I said, they're going to be top 10.
You think they'll be top 10 if they win that tournament?
Yes.
Well, so Gonzaga,
because they beat Gonzaga and Duke.
Maybe Duke Gonzaga just lost, so they're not.
It's still that brand carries weight, right?
It was a fine loss.
It's hard to get any more quality wins this time of year than that.
Yeah.
So I guess that is fair, but it's hard to go from 24 to 1. That's if you were 12 or 14 now and you did that, then I'd say maybe. Purdue's not going from the 20s to 1 in 2 weeks. Come on.
No, they do Purdue, it in a month. You're missing what I'm saying. Not in 2 weeks. They get to the top 10. It's very easy.
Oh, you're saying top 10.
Simple. Yeah. It's very simple.
All we have to do is never lose.
Right. If you don't ever lose.
We've been down this road. Last year, Purdue hadn't lost, and they still didn't get number 1. Remember the week that everyone was like, oh, they're number 1, number 2. Right. We'll make Duke number 1. Right. Duke, I think, lost.
And then they got to number 1, and then I don't remember anything afterwards.
They blacked out. We won the title, and that's it.
Yeah,
that was the rest of the season.
I've been to every game in person that Purdue has been number 1 in the nation.
That's right. That's correct.
Awesome.
Every single one of them. Group.
So has your son.
He has.
Every single one.
No, there were 2.
There were 2.
They played in Brooklyn 3 days later after the Rutgers lost. They were still number 1 technically because the votes had not been tallied. And they played a horrible first half and then somehow turned it on and won.
People forget how bad that game was, right? I know. Gosh, they played horrible.
And it wasn't just, I said a half. It was like, until about 5 or 6 minutes were left in the game, they looked like dog.
Yes, it was much worse than the game that Purdue just won, right? That was a 28 minutes.
Game? Oh, Marquette was fine. I mean,
Marquette, though, they remember the start was so bad, right? Then they kind of fought back, fell down, fought back, fell down, fought back. It happened like 3-4 times, right? And then in the last 10, 12 minutes, all of a sudden Purdue looked like their depth or something just took over. And
is that what happened?
Newberg said it was just Mr. Smith.
That's what I want to ask, though. Is that what happened, or did Marquette just stop making shots? Because they got shots off.
Oh, they were not making shots at all. They had so many opportunities.
Yeah, the Marquette game, like coming out of the first or coming out of halftime, Zach Edey was just like, he so far this season he's been attacked a lot, meaning that's how they're going to defend him. It's going to be it's going to be they're going to defend him very physically. Let's say Hackazak. Coming out in the second half, he was like, nope, that's it. And I think that's part of what set the tone. Then Marquette couldn't make a shot, and all of a sudden, Braden Smith and all kind of step up. It's a good team. It's a team with a higher floor than most Purdue teams that are in this state of churn.
They're very young.
What I mean? Like in a transition year, but they've got a higher floor than most of these teams do.
Did you see what Marquette did last night, guys? Did you see what they did last night? They scored 95 points. They played nobody, but they scored 95 points.
They can score. I mean, again,
they can score.
Shaka,
and their point guard's really good. He's young.
Shaka's really a good coach.
What do you have 11 assists versus Purdue? Pretty good.
It's pretty. So speaking of these midseason tournaments and agreements and stuff like that, is Purdue forever stuck playing Marquette and Florida State in all of these? Yeah, like every year. And West Virginia, well, yeah, that's because of the bromance between, and I think it's like a Pokemon style evolution. It's like that Huggins is where Matt Taylor will go. You know what I mean? Like
swishy pants.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be there. It's just
a couple Final Fours.
Huggins though has progressed physically to look like somebody's grandmother, which is weird because he used to be an absolute intimidator, right?
He looked like a mobster.
Yes, he's terrifying. And now you look at him, you're like, he literally, if you just see him from here up, you don't see he's a big guy. It looks like somebody's loving grandmother.
John Faker asks if that was Purdue's first win versus Shaka. I don't think they played Shaka much. I know
I cannot remember a single time. I've never seen, I can't remember a single time that Purdue has played Shaka Smart. I would not like to, and I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate
it. Yeah. So Anish, look away for a second. Yeah, they were 0-2. They were 0-2 before this one, right?
Yeah. Once as a heavy tournament favorite, and once in Mackey Arena when he was at Texas. Yeah. Which I didn't remember at all when they threw that up on the screen. I was like,
I remember Shaka ever because they had the kid that was coming off of cancer, right? And I'm like, whenever that happens, gosh darn it, you're like, they're gonna lose.
Oh, what was his name? Oh, he was really good too.
Yep.
Never forget that Shaka never took Texas to a tournament. That's a hard.
I know that's nuts. Like
serious question. I'm gonna be okay. So I've got a little coaching experience. I've coached high school kids. Okay,
I'm something of an expert myself.
I'm
something of a coaching legend myself.
Yes, yeah. I've taken CYO teams to state championships. Okay, now the three of us are the coaches of Texas with the roster that Shaka had. Pick his best roster. What's our record going to be?
It's hard to it's hard to not imagine getting into the tournament.
That's what I'm saying.
It's difficult to imagine.
I mean, I like Shaka. I like.
I think he's a good coach. Yeah. I think maybe just again, it's like good coaches or good players in bad scenarios, and good coaches in bad scenarios aren't it doesn't.
How is Texas a bad scenario?
It's meaning a bad fit. It's just bad fits.
Bad fit.
Right?
But he's not doing much at Marquette.
Like Konzo
at he's fine.
Actually, Konzo at Tennessee wasn't that bad of a fit. It's just nobody.
No, he was. The
won
thought
there.
He was a bad fit.
Yeah,
and no, he just won the last year. So. He just won the last year, right? He just got them to the Sweet 16 that last year, and then bolted. He didn't do well at Cal, really, like considering the amount of talent that they had at Cal.
So, can you guys help me with this? Because I was talking about this with LBD. How many times has Konzo been bought out? Once or twice? Is he left on his own volition?
I thought he left Tennessee.
So he's been bought out. How would it be twice? I think just once. Yeah.
So he didn't get bought out at Cal or Tennessee. He left on his own.
I thought he left Tennessee on purpose.
I think he left Tennessee. Cal bought him out of Tennessee, and then I do think Mizzou took him out of Cal. I don't know if he got fired.
My whole point is, do you think he has enough money to get by for the rest of his life?
I would take it. I would make an attempt.
I'd give it a try.
Give it a run.
I'd give it a try. It's like the lottery we talked about. It was like, yeah, sure, I'll pay the taxes.
How likely is it that Konzo and Bruce Weber are coaching with Matt Painter at Purdue in the next decade?
I think Bruce Weber is done, and I really do think that Painter seems to be prioritizing younger coaches. Meaning like he's the head. He's
the guy who sends them to bigger things.
He's the guy, right? At this point, and he's the guy that people are lining up to work for, right?
The coach maker.
Yeah. It's worth it to see if other Purdue coaches, or Purdue related, adjacent coaches hire him. So, I was just watching Penn State this afternoon. And so, it'd be interesting to see if Shaka or if Shrewsbury, they both have Painter connections, they both have Purdue connections. It'd be interesting to see if he wanted to work, if he ended up on that staff. That being said, I don't know why anybody who would receive that much money and that many buyouts would want to work, but that's just me.
I think that's probably why we're not millionaires, because we're so close. The three of us we're very close. Well, one of us closer than the other two, but we have great earning potential.
We've got potential.
Because though, I think all of us,
it's just potential in disguise.
Right. It's right. I think all of us, if we got that buyout, regardless of where it was, where you got something like Konzo, you'd be like, yeah, you're never going to see me again. Period.
Goodbye.
Right. I'll be like next time you see me, I've somehow figured out how to grow hair on top and I'll have hair all the way down.
Fabio.
I won't look recognizable because I've got money to retire.
You'd look great with long flowing hair.
Oh, it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. Oh, John Baker
says Pete would be a millionaire if not spending so much on glasses frames. That's a solid point.
It's true.
We lost audio.
No, I can. I'm still
here. There we go. There we go.
Oh, okay. My bad. I don't know what happened there.
I bought 5 pairs of frames in the last couple of years that are all different prescriptions because my eyes have betrayed me like every other part of my body.
Betrayal. It's just in the rain yelling at your eyes.
Well, so for those of you who weren't here, the opening couple seconds, I referred to him as Teddy Roosevelt. So if you watch the replay, you'll get to see that.
Yeah, that's good.
So I wanted, just because I want to go back to Purdue football.
Yes,
he's breaking out his files. He's printed out. Check the Twitter machine. Check your printouts.
This just in.
So I may owe an apology when telling everybody they were wrong. Boilermaker 63. Let me run this by you guys and see if this makes sense to all of you. Okay. He says, and this actually, you know how you read something and you're like, you're not sure it's true, but you're like, I don't have anything to dispute that. That sounds pretty good. So it's either a really good deep fake or it's true. He says Illinois, Iowa, Purdue are all 1-1 against each other. Okay. Next tiebreaker is the record against the West, where Purdue is eliminated 4-2 versus 5-1 for the other two. Then Illinois beats Iowa head to head. So while that makes sense to me, it would feel really weird if they wound up tied with Illinois, but don't go to the title game because they beat them head to head. I guess if the three-way tie ends up screwing Purdue in that sense, right? So if Iowa loses and Purdue wins out, then I think it's over. Then I think it's easy, right? Because Purdue would only end up with tied with teams they'd beaten, Minnesota and potentially Illinois, right? I think that's the simplest. So really, for the good of everyone, Iowa needs to lose. I think we can agree on that.
I think that's the good of the universe.
That's generally my position. Yes,
this has been Anisha's position for nearly a decade.
This is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So Purdue, is this a Sharpie game? This is tomorrow? Is it a Sharpie game? Guaranteed win?
No, I will never Sharpie Purdue ever. No. Are you kidding? You're insane.
Aren't they 1-9? You gotta win that game. They only beat
they're 1-9. They're on their third string quarterback.
They're due.
They allowed a team to run for like 7,000 yards on them a week ago.
I think Carmen said that they were 0 for America, and that made me laugh because their only win was in Ireland.
Yeah, that's great.
They haven't won on American,
but they're Ireland champs, so that's the other way to look at it.
True.
They're the official team
of the United States.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Ben Conahan says it's a handsome hour on his birthday.
It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Ben.
Man. That's
awesome.
That's
awesome.
Good.
There's a better way to celebrate other than a rare handsome happy hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, tomorrow, 35 degrees and windy. We all know that doesn't ever.
I'm wearing snow pants, man. I'm not kidding. It's gonna be cold as hell in there.
You gonna shovel?
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, a Brohm team has never been slowed down by the weather, so I think there's nothing to worry about there.
Hey,
they're gonna win that game 12-3 or something, aren't they?
I'm fine just handing the ball off all day to Maccabee. I'm totally fine with this. Get him closer to 1,000 yards. What did we say? He needs like 250, something
240,
like that?
240.
240. There you go.
Isn't Daru healthy again?
Yeah, but I mean, he's the backup now.
No, but I mean, if you have two healthy-ish, viable running backs, then you're right. That should be enough in this scenario, shouldn't it?
I'm totally just hand it off. Let the offensive line feast.
Well, you're not. I think you're discounting something too. Aiden O'Connell looks like a pretty deadly runner too. I don't know if we saw that.
No, dual threat, sudden.
That was the funniest run because I went back. I've watched the game like highlights a couple times. He sits down at the end.
Yes, as one does. He done enough. When I run for a long time, I sit down too. If I run too long, I'm like, nope, gotta sit right here, wherever I am.
It was like he opted out of the play. He was about to get hit, and he just opted out of the play. He does this though. Flag. He's sneaky. He's like he's an 8th-year player, so he's a veteran. He goes out of bounds like a beat late, or just a beat off, just to see if he can get that, draw that. Exactly. Same thing. He'll do the slide just a beat late, just to see if they'll launch themselves at him.
Popped.
I know, and it's like, that's great, but you're the quarterback. We need you. What are you doing?
Gonna need you for that Big Ten championship game. Oh, so I'm actually much more concerned that Purdue's going to have only the IU game in front of them.
It's most likely this is
right because Iowa's probably, if they're going to lose, it's going to be tomorrow to Minnesota.
I love this scenario, honestly.
Going into IU for the West Championship.
Yeah.
Well, something to rub IU's face in it even more.
And it's a motivator to play hard. And IU is not a good team. They're not good.
Nope.
They are.
Do you think
they can't throw a forward pass very well?
Do you think it opens? I mean, do you think our friend Tom Allen is going to be open for whatever job that is interviewing him?
I would say Tom Allen is such a
very nice,
unanimous personality. He could do whatever he wants with his life. And he can stay at IU as long as he'd like, in my opinion. This is just me speaking. Tom, you're welcome to stay in Bloomington.
They're not pushing him out. Not this year.
They're not pushing out. It's $20 million for a buyout. According to an IU friend of mine. And I think it's pretty accurate. American dollars. That's a lot of money for a school that doesn't care about
for Tom Allen.
Good for Tom Allen. Exactly.
Now you're rooting for Tom to get fired.
Now I want it. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so here's another thing. I don't know if you guys saw. There's an article released this week. Tom Allen talking about the reason for IU's woes, and it starts off with a great quote, which we can all say it's an ex-player. I can't remember who it was. He said, "Hey, everybody comes to play for Tom Allen because they love him." Okay, I'll agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Tom Allen,
love
great
everyone.
Dude. Second part, Tom Allen saying the reason we can't get over the hump right now is the NIL. Okay. Thanks, Tom.
IU notoriously without rich donors.
Is it love everyone or love each other? What is it?
I think it was love. I thought it was love each other.
Because it's everyone. 2 words, not everyone. Everyone is 1 word.
No.
You're the linguist.
Expert.
It can be. No, you're right, though. It love each other. That makes more sense.
Love each other. That's the one that everybody does wrong, by the way. Putting each other together as 1 word. It is not ever 1 word, correct? Am I right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Thank you, sir.
Who puts each other together? I would like boil it down.
Typing.
I just went with it, Anish. I decided not to.
I was like putting it in my head. I was like, I don't know if
I always do it. Then my autocorrect says nope.
And you're like, shut up, autocorrect.
Shut up, what do you know, autocorrect? Your zigzag red line.
Can we agree that's a weird rallying cry? Can we agree on that?
It's very weird.
It's fine.
Of course, Anish, you're so politically correct.
No,
it's fine.
Weird. It's so
stupid.
It's better than most weird ones.
Let's play football, mofos.
Yeah.
Let's play.
I mean, I guess again, unless
that's a good one.
Makers All, or was that the whole university?
That was Makers All was not by the athletic department was handed that from the wonderful leadership and marketing team. That went really well. That was a good
what would be the funniest scenario is if Tom Allen got fired, got his $20 million, and then went to like Central Michigan or something and won like 10 games. I think that would be an amazing timeline. I would love to see that.
Tom Allen has a lot of fans in West Lafayette. I think we generally like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Bring him into coach's defense.
I'm in.
Actually, I'm in.
Dude, how powerful would Jeff Brohm be with a consistent, good defensive coordinator for like 3 seasons? Holy crap!
Yeah, okay. This
Wrap
is exactly
your mind around that scenario.
Well, how did he immediately get Purdue to be competitive again? They had a good defensive philosophy, and they had Thanos. What was his name?
Nick Holt.
Nick Holt. Yeah. I mean, and that wasn't even, but it was enough
went down in flames, man.
It went down in flames because
our guy Jeff is hard to work for and with.
Well, and I think somebody with Holt's sort of approach that fizzles out after.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long, right?
Well, I don't know if at least on the defensive side, if Brohm is that hard to work for, because Brad, what's his name, Lambert last year, I think if he wasn't from North Carolina and wanted to go back there and got, I mean, like Wake Forest is probably
going great for everybody. Thanks for.
Brad. It's the most
Damn it,
stable.
You stay, Brad. Purdue's probably national champ contender right now.
I know. I mean, like he just wanted to go back, and then we didn't want Bob Diaco to stay. I don't think. Right. I mean, I don't know if I put Bob Diaco. I don't know if I put that on Brohm being hard to work with. It's like
he hired.
Why did you hire this guy?
Why did you hire that guy? He's not a good.
The answer is on the bench though. Right now, I really believe it. I think Mark Hagan is a bad dude. I'm okay with that. I've softened my opinion. Let's keep Ron English around. Just move him as a positional coach. But I want Mark Hagan as the DC, and I want Jeff Brohm not calling plays still, in spite of the beauty and the wonder that was the Illinois victory.
I now want Tom Allen to be Purdue's next defensive coordinator.
You like that
idea? There's very little I want more now. That's an excellent idea.
McManus brings up. He says weirdest college football slogan, LEO, or trust yourself. Who's this trust yourself? Is that like Eminem?
Fitzgerald. They have a board or a bar that says trust yourself, and they all tap on it. They said one of the players holds it up and they come and smack it. And it says trust yourself. It's hilarious. It's the best.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's why it's good. If you understood it, it wouldn't be nearly as good, Jay.
But trust yourself. The whole idea is team. Trust each other.
I think if you're looking, it's like a negative. Trust yourself, and you give them a 1-finger salute.
I mean, the most well-known slogan until Notre Dame enters the Big Ten in the Big Ten right now is "Row the boat." Yeah. What in the world? Like that? See, this is what I'm measuring against. Like, row the boat, and all associate everything in the row the boat universe, the cinematic universe, is just so like it's not English. It's not quite. It doesn't make any reading comprehension.
Why do we have to have slogans for everything, guys? Well, why do we have to have slogans?
We don't have to, but if we're going to, though, How about we make them make some modicum?
What was? Hey, Danny Hope had a good one. Tell me what it was. It was ONE. I can't remember what that was.
I think it was just one.
But what didn't that stand for something like?
I don't think
other people need each other.
Now you sound like Hopeful Danny.
Ostriches. I don't know.
They had that big. All the posters had the word one in big letters.
One.
And I remember partway into the season, Ryan says to me, "Boy, I hope they don't finish with only one win." They were like 1-5, and he's like, "Oh boy, I hope they don't." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's really not good." Well, you sent us the video. There was a video out there when Fleck was at the height of his powers when he was at what was it, Western?
It was at Western,
and they said, "Okay, explain row the boat," and he's like, "The rowing is your family, and the oar is the troubles that you find in the water, and the rocks are the." And you're like, "What?" I can't even do it justice. It is as insane as I am.
It's so good. It's so insane. It's awesome.
Incredible word salad.
I hope he wins. It would be nice if he wins tomorrow. That would be
UMass
great.
beat Murray State, guys. Just happened last second shot. I know you all had money on that.
Yeah, good work.
Yeah.
What's his name? Yeah, good work.
Ben Carnahan says Danny Hope was "We Are One." A couple of games in, my friends and I started saying "We Are One" and 4. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to think those things out and trust yourself. I just keep thinking of it to Eminem's "Lose Yourself." That's what I keep. That's what I keep hearing in my head.
There's the one brick higher as well. Yes, of course. Naturally.
He had so many, but remember Hazel also had the furnace, right?
That's what they wanted to call Ross.
Then they had 364 degrees.
I don't remember that. I just remember the furnace.
Point of water.
That's 212, but yeah.
212 degrees. I'm not a scientist. I draw for a living. Get off my back.
I'm not a scientist. I never cooked anything.
I never cook anything. I'm a very good cook. I'm a great cook. You came over to the Boiler Down household, you're going to get a good meal.
It's just not boiled water.
It'll be takeout.
It's not going to just be boiled water.
Right. It'll be someone will deliver a really good meal. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And he had the hat. Hazel had the hat. That was a big thing.
Oh, that stupid hat.
It was a weirdo.
I don't think about that. It makes me sad.
Dan says it was 211. No, I think it was 212. I think you're right. And like
212 is the boiling point, so he might have said 211.
And then they had like some ceremony before where everyone would get boiling.
Nope.
And then Hazel would put all of his eggs into that boiling water.
Oh, they did the eggs in one basket.
Eggs in the basket is the worst.
But it was
so many bad things.
It was for like the start of a season.
It was the Marshall game, and it started with a pick 6.
And they were like, "We put all our eggs in
eggs in this basket at Marshall. We're going to West Virginia to get our ass kicked, and this is our basket." At the end, it ends with Daryl Hazel clicking his heels in champagne.
Well, didn't you told me
not literally in the liquid of champagne, but in Champaign, Illinois.
Wasn't there?
Because it's hard to click your heels in a liquid.
He got his buyout though, so afterwards, I mean,
so he won. He won.
Greg McManus,
and he got paid a lot of money in the meantime.
Hat, perfectly pressed quarter zip, and pants. And don't forget, remember the thing that bothered me? He would tuck his quarter zip into his pants.
Into his pants, yes.
It's very peculiar.
Yeah.
Very peculiar behaviors. Didn't you tell me didn't Coletto do something where they buried something in the end zone?
Yep, they had a cemetery out by the practice field.
And when they beat
a team. So there weren't a lot of headstones. But they beat Cal. They beat Cal.
Yes, when Cal was good.
I think I was a senior in high school when that happened.
I thought you were at Purdue because I thought that was the year before I came in.
They could have been.
But it was they were like 10th or something, and they came in and got just smoked, which made no sense at all.
So do you think they buried the Michigan team in whatever that thing is, even though he had already resigned?
Yeah, the whole team. They just no, yeah.
All of you
two L's Lloyd Carr was asininely stupid in that game. They had a great running attack.
The 9-3 game?
Yes, and he tried to use his lineman to run the ball twice on the goal line. That happened.
With 2 L's. I forgot that joke. It never gets old. It's so great. It's so great. Oh, man. Oh, reminiscing because we don't want to focus on what could happen on Saturday.
It's fine. What could go wrong? All Purdue needs to do is win 2 games against bad opponents. We'd be favored in both
it's local broadcasting legend, Little Boiler Down.
Yeah, they just welcomed you to the show.
Very good.
Did you tell him I called him local
broadcasting? He called you a local broadcasting legend.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Sure,
it's fair.
He agrees. Yeah, fair.
Central Indiana's finest.
I do
That's
many broadcasts.
He's
the dynamite.
Listen
to this. The dynamite.
Listen to this voice. He's available
on the 24th.
You hear that? He's now doing basketball play-by-play.
He's available for ads. You can rent him out for a decent fee of $500,000. Yeah, absolutely. He'll do anything. I mean, like he's a PA announcer. He can do it all.
Yeah, it's a big deal having him here. That was an appearance fee. He just made some money. So, hey, LBD, there's a question here. What are your thoughts on my frames on these?
I think that he looks like a clown. He looks like he's like an old man in like maybe like the 1930s. Like
he said I look like Teddy Roosevelt.
He looks like he's in like a circus or something.
Well, that has nothing to do with his glasses. But that's okay.
I'm wounded.
I'm hit.
I don't deserve that. I'm hit. All I do is love people. I love everyone. Love everyone. Love each other. Love everyone.
Love each other. See, I'll never get it right because it's so stupid.
Right.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody just said that Purdue will never cover the spread, and now I want to know because isn't it like 20?
It's like I think it opened at 3 touchdowns, and nope, there's no chance.
It's down to 17.5. Maybe because of the weather. The money line is minus 1,000 Purdue.
No, probably because people saw that. People have watched Purdue this year, and they were like, what in the world? It's going to come down to the last possession.
Purdue should win by, I'm sorry. I know 17.5 is a lot. Purdue should win by, they should cover that. Purdue should win by 3 touchdowns easily. 24.
So you guys think, there's a good discussion on the Knucklehead board about the effect on senior day on certain seniors. A lot of people think that Aiden O'Connell is going to feel the emotion of the thing. Start off a little slow.
He went through a senior year. He went through senior day last year. He knows how to handle it.
He talked about that this week, which is awesome. He's older than you guys, by the way.
Yeah, little known fact.
Little known fact.
He
said the other day after practice, his wife was home making a rice casserole. And I was like, I don't think you call it a rice casserole. You'd call it like a chicken casserole or a broccoli casserole. You don't call it a rice casserole.
The amount of carbohydrates that I'm imagining in this casserole.
What's for dinner? Oh, I made your favorite. It's a rice casserole.
Rice casserole.
What's in that? Rice.
I'm sorry. That's some white people nonsense. I'm sorry. That's just I don't know a rice casserole.
Here's what I would if I were you though.
Just
regardless of what they're eating, their kids. They've got a D1 volleyball player plus a D1 quarterback.
Send him to Purdue.
18,
O'Connell and his wife
years,
already do.
We gotta have the O'Connell little one getting an offer.
That's right.
Regardless of the sport. So I got
golfing legend
tonight. Yeah, golfing legend.
That's it.
Yeah. So do you guys feel good about the game? I know the spread is a lot.
No, not at all. Nope. No, I could not feel worse. Could not feel worse. Purdue does really well when their back is like Purdue teams do really well when their back is against the wall. Yeah. And it's like you got to like do or die time. And here they're favored, and people are already talking about them in the Big Ten championship game, or at least in the most likely scenarios. Nope, I hate it.
Yeah, gosh, that's a good point.
Oh, I could not feel worse about this, and I won't be able to watch the game live, and so I will just be refreshing it constantly on my phone, and I'm going to feel great about it. Not distracted at all.
No, do you have what are you doing during the game?
I will not be by a television.
Well, that was vague.
Yes, exactly. I've got secret missions that I'm conducting.
We had a friend in college who Ryan. He might remember if this was the guy's eventual wife, but he missed a game because they were antiquing, and he never heard to this day.
Oh, that's the stupidest reason. That was so bad.
That's why I just said that.
By the way, he sometimes comes on, listens to the show. I know he follows us on Twitter. I'm not going to mention his name.
I should say that.
He's a respected member. He's like a pillar of the community.
It's a great answer.
Speaking of the gray Boiled Sports team only sweatshirts and long sleeves that we're wearing right now, the handsome Derek Schultz, who we have gifted one of these and wore it on the Query and Schultz show, is going to be the newest Purdue Communications special something.
Officially.
I mean, it was clearly our fault. It was clearly our doing. And I think that we can say without a doubt that if we could plan something, we would we will be recording with him at some point, some nonsense that that we'll have him on. If we could plan this any more than 5 minutes beforehand, we would definitely do that.
I think here's the thing. I'm going to tell you guys, there was a plan that was put into place a long time ago. Towards the end of the COVID shutdown, Derek and I had lunch together. This is not a story. It's not a lie. And that's probably when it started, where he started thinking about, hey, this Purdue is a pretty good idea. It's a good way to go. So I'm glad it worked out, and I give myself the credit.
That's right. Totally. And I think 10%.
Yeah, I think that's there's got to be some sort of finder's fee. I mean, really
10% of the finder's fee and 10% of the buy.
You guys have both eaten a meal with me. It's disgusting. So I mean, he had to deal with that. So he deserves some sort of bonuses, I think, is what you're talking about. Not me getting a kickback.
That works. So, that works. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's neat. I in all seriousness, I love seeing Derek on our side of the thing. He said he's going to wear a split jersey.
Well, the split jersey thing is a
he hates. It's his thing that he. Yeah.
They hate it, and everybody sends him pictures of people in split jerseys, and I can't fault him because the ones that get sent to him are just.
I was trying to find a Purdue IU split jersey. There's only the house divided ones, but there are those little yard flags that are half and half Purdue IU.
Why would you just get a Purdue and an IU flag if your house is really split, and just put up two flags if it's that important?
You got to make sure they're the same size. Can't have one outsizing the other. Got to break out the measuring tape.
Oh, we were driving. So when Anish and I were traversing the country together, when we drove past East Lafayette, you may recall,
it makes sense.
We passed a truck that had, this is no exaggeration, it had a bullet out. Are you listening to the story? You look like you're distracted. It had a flag in the back that was half U.S., Stars and Stripes, and half Confederate.
Yes,
and
that's right.
I'm always happy when I can make Anish laugh because I said that's an 1864 House Divided sticker. And he liked that one.
Oh, so good.
I don't understand why someone would have that flag.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all. Like if you're either a South will rise again guy, it's not going to rise again. Or you believe that we won the Civil War and it's over and we put it behind us. Either one, fine. Not really fine. One side's fine.
But both sides have great points.
We can't say that.
I'll listen to both sides.
I'm not even going to say that. Not even going to say that.
Give him a chance.
I'm not going to give this one a chance.
It's all about
the good guys won. So
I wish.
Holy crap! Someone splitting that flag. That's incredible.
I wish we had just a house divided thing that we could just put under there. That we could just slap under there. That would be great. That's really good.
Oh, you mean sneak up on his truck and put it on there? Yeah, I don't know. That sounds risky.
No, you can sneak up on his truck. That's what I meant. I bet you do it.
Anish got yelled at by a middle-aged white lady in Ross-Ade because he had the temerity to go near her, literally just walking through the concourse. And she gave him that. No, she gave him that. Excuse me, sir, because it was crowded and Anish had been too close to her, I guess. And I made some bitchy comment back to her, and Anish goes, "Please don't yell at old white ladies on my behalf." I was like, "No, that's me backing you up." See, I don't want you backing me up. This is what leads to random gunfire in my direction.
Exactly. She was.
At worst, she's going to be carrying a little 22 pea shooter. You're just
she couldn't have been. She couldn't have been bigger than a squirrel. I swear, she was the smallest lady that I had ever seen, and I didn't even notice her saying that. Is like Ratatouille. I did not notice her until you said that. And so yeah. I wanted no part of it.
Well, I actually did reach out to Derek Schultz. I was trying to see if I could get him on, do a little surprise.
I just reached out to him via text, and I haven't gotten a response yet. I wouldn't respond to me either.
Yeah, I don't blame that. And Ultimate Boiler says he loves Anish.
Me too. I mean,
that's
right.
That's a fair.
That's two of us.
Thank you for
That's exactly, yeah. That's at least two of us on the screen right now.
That's right. That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. That's 50%.
Very good.
Average. Oh, Boiler Dad, I don't know if you saw this. Well, a couple things here. First,
I've been on Twitter in hours. So
no. This is right here on the screen in front of you. Dylan says that my wife wore my team only BS hoodie today. I told her she looked handsome. And then Ben Carnahan says,
"That's funny on a lot of levels."
Ben says, "Boil that. If you were to be eating a meal in West Lafayette, do you have any you'd suggest? Maybe a place with beef."
I do have a place with multiple types of beef.
I like that we have them setting us up now. That's the best.
Because we don't do a good job. That's what they're saying. And that's fine. Our sponsors know that. I mean, Adam knows that at AJ's.
They know our quality.
Right. Yet he keeps
their quality far outpaces our quality.
Yeah, but I would go over to AJ's on Vine. On a cold evening like this, first I'd go on my eatajs.com website. I'd order ahead. I'd probably get funnel cake fries, and I'd probably get mac and cheese bites. I just start it that way because I like to start light, ease in, and then I'd probably go I'd probably go Italian beef and a double cheeseburger and like 5 or 6 pints. See,
man,
just kind of
ease. Is it hot in here or is it me?
My
goodness.
Yeah, they got a nice staff over there. They get good people to eat at AJ's, and if you ever, so here's the funny thing. This is not a joke. Adam and I text each other. One of the owners of AJ's. We text each other. Like, I nailed down this great relationship. Okay, I haven't met him. Every time I go into AJ's, that is a sweet phone. How the heck do you? But every time I go in there, he's not there. I miss him by like a minute. So
J Money could probably contact him back when they founded in 2008 with that phone.
With a razor. He's got.
You said you were texting him. We have a box of old phones that I came across in the basement.
That's amazing, though. I love the razor. It's my favorite.
I found my razor, which is literally. By the way, just to go off track here for a second, this was the pinnacle right here of self.
Yeah, just 1 second we'll go off path.
Yeah. This was the best because this thing, it fit in any pocket, the breast pocket of a shirt, inside of a jacket, anywhere. Your jeans. The battery never died. You could get texts. It had a camera. This phone,
I couldn't send texts, but I could receive them because I was too old at that point to do the, what do they call the triple?
The T9.
T9.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
There was only 1 or 2 letter responses.
That's what I was going to say. You got to do.
Okay.
And efficient this thing is. It's
they've got folding fingers. They've got folding phones now. The size
I know
of
they
that,
do,
right?
No, but
not the size of this.
Some sort of demon folding glass, which is
it is demon folding glass. Absolutely, it's demon folding glass.
Demon folding glass.
So what you got to do, guys? You go get a. That's my son on there. You go get a mini. You get an iPhone mini, which they don't even make anymore, because you got little tiny baby hands. You need something small to fit in your little pockets. The funny thing is, my pockets shouldn't be that small. Because my pants aren't that small at this age and this girth, but still, my hands are very tiny. So
it's tremendous. It's tremendous.
Ultimate Boiler says, "Why do you people,
whoa,
buddy,
whoa,
why do you people keep all their old phone? That's my phone, not anyone else.
It's English.
We have a huge Ziploc bag full of old phones. Okay, so you're agreeing you're one of those people?
He's you people.
No, Ultimate Boiler's a younger guy, so I think he's taking a shot. He's doing it poorly, but he's taking a shot at us. Exactly, Greg. Who are you calling you people? He just corrected himself. I'm glad you're backpedaling. Don't trip. Dylan says, break out your rotary dial phone. Yeah, I'll hit you across the face with it and you won't wake up.
Exactly. How's that feel? Because they're heavy duty. The rotary, exactly. They have a real bell inside the phone. And when it hits you upside the skull,
bing, you come here, you learn something. Exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway,
history, like
what were you talking about?
Earlier.
French fries, something like that. Funnel cake fries. I can't.
Guys,
remember. Who else?
I do have to tell that there's something serious. When the weather gets this cold, I need to cover frightfully cold. I need to cover up. And you know what I like to cover up in? Martin Vintage t-shirts and sweatshirts.
Oh, it's my lower layer right now.
Cozy.
Look at that.
Cozy. Jay says he's got too thick of a neck to wear a hoodie, but I'll tell you what, I will wear a Martin Vintage hoodie. They've got one right now that I like. It's got my attention. I'll be real honest. As Christmas rolls around, if you want to get beat-out something, here's what you get them. The heather gray seal sweatshirt. It's real simple. Yeah. Get your pins out. It's gray with simple black print, but it's got the seal on the front. It's got the block P on the sleeve.
Seal?
SLEEVE.
Yeah, exactly. Like a clapping seal.
Okay. But head over to Martin Vintage, buy yourself that sweatshirt, take your picture in it, nothing else, and then send it to J Money. But before you do it, enter Boiled at checkout. You'll get 15% off. That's martinvintage.com. They're Purdue people making Purdue gear. You can't go wrong.
That's right. Just do it.
Do it. Just do it. Do it. Do it.
Gang, I'm in there. Dylan, I'm an 18.5 neck.
Same.
I am a 16 neck. I got this pencil neck.
Pencil neck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think my arm length is 38. I think I'm like a 30
over here.
I'm like a 38, 39, and my neck is like 16. I'm Jack Skellington. That's it.
You are the candidate for custom shirts, just to be clear.
Yes, I know.
I'm the candidate on the other end.
You were a candidate too, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Man, you should see me wearing stuff off the rack. It's a joke. It's awful. This has been a really focused show. It's been really good.
Real good.
Hey man.
So let's review. Let's do a little overview.
You can all go back to work.
Purdue, Final Four.
You can go back to work if you don't.
That's right. Correct. Number one. They're going to be number one in 3 weeks.
Right. Purdue football covering the spread.
Covering the spread in the Big Ten title game against Ohio State is what we've already determined.
What would the spread be against Ohio State?
895 points.
Moly.
23? No. Absolutely.
No, higher than
maybe
that.
European.
It's in the 30s.
I hope they get there now because it will be closer than that.
If it's 28, if it's 28, I'll take the over. By game time, it'll be over 28.
But that's okay.
No, like if it's over under. By game time, if it's over under, if we are betting on the unknown spread, we're betting on the spread of the game. I will take the over 28. It's going to be closer to 30.
I'm not saying the game won't wind up that way.
No. I'm betting the spread. I'm betting the Vegas spread by the time kickoff happens is over 28.
No. In fact, I like my guess even more than yours. I think by game time it will shrink a little because people will go, "Oh, Purdue beats Ohio State," and they'll bet on them like idiots. Right. And I think it'll come down a little bit.
Or no, I guess we win 2 games first. How about we win 2 games first?
They'll be on a winning streak at that point.
They'll be on a tear, man. 3 in a row.
Remember that. By the way, I talked about this earlier on a quick cast. I think we visited at the Hanson Market. Sorry to talk about football, guys. I apologize. But Jeff Brohm has still never won 4 straight games. And if in this scenario you could have Illinois, Northwestern, IU victories, and then heading into Indianapolis, looking for that elusive, is it 4?
Because 4 was
he has won 4.
Yeah, 4 was
Jeff
this.
Brohm has not won 4 games.
No, he's not run 4 games. I think it's 3.
Last month. No, he did.
Last month.
FAU, Minnesota, Maryland, Nebraska. But you're close.
Yeah, okay, so it's 5. So let's say, so they will beat Ohio State. Then it'll be the bowl game. It'll be the Rose Bowl, of course.
Correct. And you might as well just pen them in.
So if they win, this is just the fun. If they went to it and they lost, they would obviously Ohio State would. Let's assume Ohio State makes the playoff. Then the Rose Bowl would get to pick. Right? There's no automatic.
Yeah,
so
there is no automatic any. So the automatic stuff for the bowls ended with the last TV contract. So bowls are literally just a free for all. So Purdue could end up
the Big Ten championship, then they go to the Rose Bowl, right?
Instead of a P on their helmet, maybe just a gigantic rose, like a rosebud. It'd be a yellow rose, maybe a golden rose.
You know what? I actually wonder, even if Purdue won the Big Ten title game, if the Rose Bowl would invite them.
That's what Greg McManus brings up right there.
Yeah, I think they'd take Michigan. I agree.
So serious question. I know Purdue's not going to win the Big Ten championship.
No, they're not. But it's funny to
They don't automatically go even with a win there.
There's
if they were not in the playoff goes to the Rose Bowl.
Purdue would probably be like 5th in the nation at that point.
I think that was the last media deal. Though you may be right. It may be because of the rights deal may tie in with the playoff. So basically once the Big Ten champion is pulled by the playoff, all bets are void and anybody can invite
they would be like
it would be the
Purdue game in the Rose Bowl.
After the very justified year full of Big Ten West jokes, if the Big Ten West champion beat Ohio State, it'd be the best. It'd be so funny. Everybody would be so mad, except the full cast. They would laugh.
Oh man, that would be such great.
Purdue have 9 wins, by the way, in that case. Jay, they wouldn't be just
Purdue
an
8-win
Purdue
6 now. They'd have 9 going to the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
So
and then they get your 10 wins in the Rose Bowl.
Your 10 wins in the Rose Bowl.
14 games to get to 10 wins. No, that's kind of good. It's fine. They had 14.
By the way, I think Purdue's football. Tell me if I'm wrong about this. You guys are smarter than me, but I think Purdue's football program. Go back to that 5-win streak thing, and Jay's dream of 10 wins, which is something that will happen before Jay dies. Right before he's going to be on his deathbed.
Right,
and he'll see it, and then he'll flatline. But I got morbid. But Purdue has, I think, only won 5 straight games one time in like the history of the program or something absurd. Like
really?
it's
straight?
Crazy. So to get to 10 without winning 5 straight is harder. That's my point.
Sure. This is some math. This is like some water boiling math right there. I had to process here for a second.
Because if you're not unless you have streaks like that, it's hard to get to 10 wins in a 12-game season.
I don't think Tiller ever won 5 straight.
But back to the real world. If Purdue does not trip over themselves, if Purdue doesn't trip over themselves, Northwestern, Indiana, 2 very winnable games, the first back-to-back 8-win regular season set of seasons since Joe Tiller's first 2 years. Like, come on,
absurd.
And yet you have people out there just jumping
that
off
this is a failure. It's just
I will go back to what we said a couple weeks ago, that you can be mad about those instances, and you can. I'm not saying you're not justified in being pissed off at the way those Wisconsin and Iowa games.
We all are.
But
we all are.
In the aggregate, if it finishes 8 wins, now if they finish out 6-6, you can be as angry as you want.
Perfectly justified. Yes.
Yeah.
But 8 and then 8 again with a chance for a 9th again.
That's great, man. It's not good. It's great for Purdue.
I mean,
we can't divorce ourselves from what we are, right?
It's genuinely.
Like imagine if Boiler Dad was 6'4" and he was Anisha's height. Imagine if he was a foot taller, right? You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense.
I often think about it. Yes.
You're like, tall Boiler Dad. Would it be all legs?
I could look him eye to eye.
Oh, on the dance floor.
That's
right. I wouldn't just take heels like I usually wear. But that's the whole thing. You can't divorce Purdue's history from Purdue now, right?
That's right.
The program history matters. Well, and so getting to 8 wins is pretty special.
That's what's funny is that like people are angry that Jeff Brohm is not doing something that's literally never been done in the history of Purdue football. Like, how dare you not split the atom? What? Like, I don't, that's not what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Fission versus fusion. Anish can talk about that.
Yeah. That's the next episode.
Yeah. Well, guys, it has been a very focused.
Hey, man.
Well,
it was so focused that Boiler Dad was giving a rundown of the episode and got derailed halfway through. Exactly. It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
That's okay. It really doesn't matter. But it was good. I can tell you, it's entertaining. I've got a couple people in my family that listen. One is my dad. He said to me yesterday, "I never make it through an entire Handsome Hour."
Thanks, Dad.
And that hurt. Right. I'll be honest, that hurt. And then the other one, my brother, my older brother, he said he likes to listen. He'll listen the whole thing, which is incredible. That's probably more surprising to you two. Maybe
because he knows us. Yeah, he knows us, which is why it's even more surprising.
Right. So, but I think.
Meanwhile, Michael listens at. I think we reviewed that Michael listens at half speed.
Is he waiting in the green room? By the way.
Yeah, he is. We didn't have time for him. We didn't have time.
Couldn't get
his segment didn't come up. But exactly.
His segment's the best. People love it. So, yeah. Ben Carnahan says B-Dog confirmed for the game. I can neither confirm nor deny.
B-Dog.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'm going to be wearing snow pants, I'll be honest. So it's going to be cold. I would suggest if you're going to Purdue tomorrow, dress as warmly as you can.
Oh, I should put this out here. If you're listening
this is a big deal.
And you would like 2 tickets in row 7, hit me up. Send me your
surrounded by Northwestern parents.
Shh. No, Northwestern parents. I like how you just phrased that because
they will be the most pleasant people,
the nicest people, pleasant people to be around.
So my tickets are alarmingly close to they're not actually.
I love the seats. Like if nobody around existed, it's still mostly Purdue fans.
Every stadium I'm in.
Yeah,
I could just be in here with none of you. My favorite thing, I think I might have told you this. I went to during like the teeth of the pandemic. The first sports teams that were having fans in again were like in Florida and stuff, unsurprisingly. And my son and I went to a Tampa Bay Lightning game, and it was 10% capacity. So we were the only people in our row literally, and every other seat was zip tied closed. They did a good job of saying, no, these two are open, and these two are open, and these two are open. It was the best. There were no lines in the concourse. The bathroom was quick.
How many concessions were open in the entire arena?
I mean, enough that I'm sure they weren't all open, but enough that it didn't feel like you had to like find one. You know what I mean?
It was like the summer trip. It was like the summer trip you two came to Pittsburgh for, where we had the entire Pittsburgh Pirates upper deck section to ourselves.
Pirates game, a day game on a Thursday in Pittsburgh, like on the way out to the Notre Dame game 2 seasons ago.
That's right.
And yeah, there was nobody there. It was amazing.
Awesome.
12:30 on a Thursday, and it's the Pirates. Man, we had literally the whole section to ourselves.
The whole section,
what I'm saying, though. That's the best way to watch a sport.
Among the most beautiful views of the Pittsburgh skyline.
It's amazing.
I love it.
It may be the best view in all of. Well,
it's pretty good.
Happy Valley used to be before they added the upper deck. To look on the mountains, the Nittany, I think it's called the Nittany Mountain Range. You used to be able to see it from the stadium, from the Boiler Dowd seats.
When you
not from the J Money seats.
The seats, I will say, I'll give it credit. The Rose Bowl view is excellent. The mountains out in California,
yes.
And
you got to be high to see them though. Which I would be. not like it's legal in California, so it's okay. I work out there, so it's fine.
That's true. You're a Californian now.
Yep, I'm officially a Californian. I'm a perfect fit.
John Faker.
People love me out there.
John Faker has a comment about Michael. He says, I love Michael's segment where he comes into frame in his garage, all disheveled, like he just hefted 3 bodies into a 55-gallon drum full of acid. Woof!
All right.
Whew, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's like some Ozark and there's
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad stuff in there, all in there. That's good. That's good. Very Greg good. Well, I do appreciate everyone who, I mean, gosh darn it. If you stuck around this long,
what are you talking about? This is normal time. Greg has made a couple comments about how we've gone off the rails, but I want to just say you're all.
Were you ever on the rails?
Well, because Dylan says talk about random comments. I'm in the possible near future. I'm buying a horse. I'd like Purdue themed names. I'll need ideas from the Hensmeyer gang. Like you guys don't help keep us on the rails. Let's be clear about that.
Glenn.
Glenn is probably the best.
Glenn,
just it's funny. It's hilarious.
It's Glenn funny. It's a Purdue name.
Yeah. We Sam had my wife had a fish named Pete, and it was a betta fish that lasted like 5 years. Betta fish are not supposed to last for 5 years. It's wild, mutant fish. Pete is too done. Glenn is just funny. Could you imagine calling a horse Glenn? It's great.
Glenn. If you can get the horse to know its name, would be even better, right? So you yell Glenn, the horse. I don't know. The horses learn their name. I really don't know.
Yeah. They're giant dogs. I think they do.
Are they really?
They're smarter. They got big brains.
Okay. Yeah. I can't confirm or deny that. Every time I've ridden a horse, it's gone poorly. And I'm not kidding. It never goes well.
You not jiving with your aura, not jiving well
it's
with
weird,
horses, with animals is crazy.
Yeah. With this even keel, this temperament,
you can feel the blood pressure. Like this guy is not.
The horse is like,
he is not chill.
Yeah.
Okay, this has gone off the rails. Goodbye.
Hey, love you guys. Good night.